We begin on this Monday with the stark difference between what Vice President Kamala Harris is touting on the campaign trail and her far-left record. The New York Post is calling Harris a comma chameleon, noting that Harris, once a hero of progressives along with the media, is hiding all of her far-left positions from voters. And we've heard her at rallies trying to convince you, the voters, that she is now tough on crime. She's a prosecutor.
Before I was elected a United States Senator, I was an elected Attorney General, and before that, District Attorney. And before that, I was a courtroom prosecutor. As a prosecutor.
Well, we know her resume, I guess. That tough prosecutor you just watched once backed a bail fund that helped free violent criminals. And now the new tough on crime Kamala wants you to believe that after nearly 4 years and 8 million illegal immigrants, she's going to get tough on the border, too.
So I was Attorney General of a border state. I went after the transnational gangs, the drug cartels, and human traffickers. I prosecuted them in case after case, and I won. So I know what I'm talking about. He talks a big game about a lot of things, but he talks a big game about border security, but he does not walk the walk.
So Trump is the one talking a big game. Well, Kamala is actually taking a page from his playbook. Her first proposed policy is literally a copy-paste of his idea from months ago.
We are going to not charge taxes on tips.
And eliminate taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers.
Little plagiarism there. Trump quickly blasted Kamala, posting everything she does is fake. But despite the apparent gaslighting on Harris's far-left record, she's now leading in 3 critical battleground states. You'll see it there. This is a new poll from the New York Times Siena College showing that Harris is leading by 4 points in Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. Those are the big states. But how is that possible when the liberal media has your back? Just look at the magazine's latest cover. This is Time. They're calling it, quote, her moment. Wow, that's powerful. Kamala is different than Kamala plus media. But starting with tax on tips, I saw this in real time, and I immediately, of course, thought of President Trump. Yeah. And then when you do some research, Charles, here's what you find. Let's pull this up. This is on the IRS webpage. I verified this morning. This is from, look at the date on this, February 6, 2023. IRS introduces new service industry tip reporting program. This is after Kamala Harris cast the tie-breaking vote to literally tax your tips.
Yeah, no, and then on top of it, they want to get an army, 80,000 IRS agents to go after people who are, tip workers or side hustle workers. Look what happened in California. They tried to shut down the gig economy because they're not unionized. It's bizarre to me what's happening, and I can only think half the folks who are buying into this just don't know. They're apolitical. Maybe they're not paying attention. And the other half agree that this is a wink and a nod. We know that you're going to just do what you have, say what you have to say, but we know you'll govern differently. And that's the dangerous part, because they're probably right. I'm 99% sure they're right in their assumption that, hey, she'll do whatever she's got to do to win, but once she gets in there, she's going to revert to who she's been for the majority of her life.
You know, Harris, Politico noted this morning what was so significant about tax on tips was, yes, it copied Trump, but it was her first policy proposal. Where are the white papers? Where are the plans? They don't exist. Just enthusiasm is what she's banking on.
Well, they're looking at what has traction. They know they can't really substantively talk about the border. And we've already seen Biden kind of, well, should we flip the switch on some of Trump's policies and bring the numbers down if we can? The answer to that being yes, if they can. Why hasn't she done some of this before? I didn't know that she had a financial fiscal policy. Did anybody know that? I didn't know that she felt so strongly about tips. I mean, it's only been 22 days. It's not like the woman has had a time to sit down and reinvent herself. Well, not without help. So what are the fingerprints on this from Nancy Pelosi? And I've been thinking about this a lot. Just put it out there and tell them they can find out what's in it when we pass it. I think that's how they're going to roll. They're going to talk about a lot of issues and ways to fix stuff. And then the next thing you know, Well, you don't need the details. You just know it's Kamala, who I guess is now akin to Barack Obama in her oratory skills, reportedly. You just know it's her, and then you'll find out once all this stuff, well, she is the last person in the room and signs the legislation. Once it makes it to her desk, then you'll know what's in it. Is that good enough for Americans? I don't know. I guess we're going to find out in 85 days.
We're going to find out. Emily, I mean, she teased to reporters that she has some plan, to Harris's point. We haven't seen it. I don't know what's in it. We'll see when it comes out. If it comes out, she says it will. But Washington Post editorial board, I mean, normally I would say quite liberal. They do make this interesting point. Elections aren't just about winning. They're about accumulating political capital for a particular agenda, which Miss Harris cannot do unless she articulates one. She needs to articulate her plan.
She doesn't
Does
have.
she?
Yeah,
Does she? I mean, I guess what Time Magazine covers.
I mean, look, I think it's been obvious for all of these decades that people like us have been subjected to since we're from California, that she's never had a plan. That's the whole point. That she says or does whatever it takes in front of or behind the scenes to get elected, and then simply lets the vapid radical left make the agenda. It is not her articulating anything. She is not a thought leader. She is not in any way actually a progressive, in my opinion, because I think she's just an empty vessel that capitulates to whatever that tiny progressive left says and does. Now, we've gone through tick by tick of her flip-flopping, right? We've talked about the tips and the taxes. We've talked about fracking. We've talked about President Biden going from a racist old white man to all of a sudden unmatched legacy. I mean, the list goes on of how she has now walked backward, or often walks backward in the past, what she says and what she stands for. But at the end of the day, the press is complicit. I thought the New York Post put it beautifully. It's not that the press won't ask. It's that they are covering up. They are preventing from being asked exactly what those articulated policies are, exactly what her credibility is, and therefore they present that karma chameleon so that everyone could vote her in, and then she's just going to sit back and let the progressive left win and do everything.
And we've played those clips on our show. She wants to start from scratch with ICE. That's what she previously said. She wants to redirect resources from police. She wanted Medicare for all, which means health care for none. We can go through all of these, but Kennedy, as I was looking through this crosstabs of this New York Times Siena poll, this is what stood out to me. And I think this is, if I had to pick one crosstab that framed the race, it would be this one. This is asked about Harris, whether she's too liberal or not. 44% say she's too liberal. 44% say she's not too far either way. If I'm the Trump campaign, I would be targeting that 44%, showing them her policies. She is too far left. Most Americans, 70 to 80%, are against abolishing ICE, redirecting resources from police, so on and so forth.
Well, I think what her team has realized, and I credit her team with this, because it's actually been a very effective strategy for her, because the Trump team was running, points and points ahead of Biden-Harris, and now that she's atop the ticket, I think these polls are reflecting the sugar high. So what they're doing to augment that rush, the excitement of contrast, like she can now be contrasted with Biden, who's no longer on the ticket. So now what they're doing is they're looking at her horrible policy failures and some of the positions she's taken in the past, and all they're saying is, it's opposite day. Just say the opposite now, and then gaslight everyone who asks you questions or who challenges you in the slightest about it. And it's been an effective strategy so far. The problem is that's not going to hold. And I'll tell you why, because people remember the sugar high, the contrast when Biden was elected. It was all about feelings. It was all like, yay, Trump is gone. This is amazing. The world can heal. And then the economy fell apart. And now we have foreign policy disasters all over the globe. So people need to pump the brakes on that, because feelings are not enough here. And the more that the former president and his pick for VP go out and hold hour-long, no-holds-barred press conferences and talk to everyone in mainstream media, it's going to be impossible for her and her slimy Veep to slither out of these all-important grillings. They have to do that. They have to sit for these things. And the press, it is their responsibility to say, here are massive contradictions. How do you shore these up? Because you absolutely can't. You cannot be two things at once in the same way. It is the principle of non-contradiction.
I had this article from New Yorker just to that point, like, we want to cover for you, but give us something to cover. How generic can Kamala Harris be? Her campaign website, 7 donation buttons, 0 policy pages. They're like,
Oh my
hey, listen, we got your
Sure.
back, but give us something to block and tackle. Like, you know.
Totally.
Yeah,
It's really amazing.
No, you're right. You tell us you've changed, but you chose Tim Walz as your VP.
Right.
Like,
That
he's a
says it all.
radical
That
progressive.
says it all.
That says it
Yeah,
all.
It really does.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.